How to be on the horns of a dilemma to supersize and grow your business. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, and I have been waiting to use this filter because it's got these cute little horns on it. And if I take a drink of coffee, one like tips to the bottom. It like tips like you're winking. I love it. So on the horns of a dilemma, idiom that's been around for hundreds of years. Aramis, the Dutch scholar, used it around 1500. A dilemma used to be, and it's kind of like the precursor to, I think, debates. It used to mean that there was an argument and you had to prove one side or the other of the argument. Kind of sounds like logic or debates to me. Those areas of study or those areas of speech or performance. So you had to choose between two, maybe dangerous, or two different courses of action. You had to choose or pick between, it means to have to choose or pick between like two not very attractive alternatives, right? Well, have you ever been in a situation where you've had to make a close call or decision? Hello, if you're a business owner, I find it impossible to believe that you have not been in that type of a situation, probably on a daily basis. I know in different businesses that I've been involved in, geez, it's felt like boom, 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 boom. All you did all day long was make decision. And then you learn to delegate those to other people, and other people start to make decision. So a couple of things about this. I was thinking about times when I've had to personally make a choice between what I thought were really difficult situations. And as I thought back on that today, I realized that I, in those situations, often found myself in the situation many people do, where I was only looking at like two alternatives. For example, divorce my husband or stay married for the sake of the kids. Well, there's a whole lot of other alternatives besides you get divorced or you stay married for the sake of the kids, right? There's a ton of gray and different combinations of possibilities. But to me, in my mind at the time, those were the only two alternatives. It was one or the other, right? The devil you know, or the uncertainty. So often we box ourselves into a little corner where we think we only have two choices. You know, do I move or do I stay? Do I take a job here or do I take a job there? Do I stay working for someone else or do I strike out on my own? Well, if you're listening to me, you've probably struck out on your own, maybe more than once, like me, like dozens of times. And it always feels risky. It always feels scary. So how do we deal with the fact that things are always changing? We're always going to have to deal with dilemmas. You know, do I stay at work or do I go to my kids' recital? Probably not such a big question right now with COVID, but we're going to get back to those days where we have to make those choices between working or the kids. A lot of people are finding right now working from home. There's a whole lot of times during the day, every single day, that comes up. Your child needs something or needs help with homework. You're in the middle of something. What takes priority? What takes precedence? So how do you decide? I have 3 or 4 guidelines that I follow myself that help me whenever I feel like I'm on the horns of a dilemma to figure out what to do and what's in the best interests for me and for the people I serve and for my organization. Number one, I always remind myself, whenever I catch myself thinking it's black or white, this or that, I always remind myself that there's more than 2 options, there's more than 2 solutions, there's more than 2 answers to any challenge, any question, any problem that's going on. Very few things in life are black or white. Each of us interpret events and situations through our own filters, through our own experiences, through our own beliefs, through our own core values, through our own everything. And I remind myself that there's obviously things that I am not seeing, and I need to open myself up to being able to see more possibilities, more options. I also then filter all the possibilities after I have brainstormed more than 2. I have to have at least more than 2 options for any situation, any problem, any challenge. I put this in place in an organization I work for with respect to bidding. I was horrified to find that this organization never bid out their projects, and they had a lot of like very big 7-figure projects that they did every year, and they didn't bid them out. They just gave them to friends and family, which is okay when you're a small business, but as you're getting bigger and bigger, what we found out was that they were actually losing or spending millions more dollars a year than they had to because of one simple thing. They never looked for alternatives. So all we did is we put in place a process where you had to get at least 3 bids, 3 written bids for any big project. Any project over $100,000, there had to be at least 3 bids for before it, and then it was reviewed by the committee, and the right bid was selected, or the best bid for the job was selected. But anything over that, and we saved literally tens of millions of dollars the first year that we implemented that simple process into the organization. So we always want to make sure that we have more than 2 alternatives. Then I filter everything, every option through my core values, my beliefs, my goals, and my priorities. And if for a personal decision, for a dilemma with my business, I filter it through the core values of the organization, the goals of the organization, and the priorities of the organization, of the business. Next, I remind myself that very few choices, very few decisions that we make are absolute and permanent. Very few. Things change all the time. We forget that the world around us and our businesses and our lives are changing all the time. And so just because we make a choice today doesn't mean we're going to live with that choice for all eternity. But sometimes I think we talk ourselves into believing that, oh, if I do this, if I make this choice or this decision, I can never do anything else. I'm locked into that road and that trail and that path for the rest of my life, which is absolutely ridiculous. The other thing I do is I look for constantly tools and models and examples and other people to give me information that will help me choose among choices and dilemmas and situations. I look for people that have been in a similar situation to me previously, and then what did they do about it and what results did they get? Will that solution be right for me? Not necessarily, but sometimes I can combine little pieces of what other people have done and come up with a reaction or an action to address a situation or a dilemma that we hadn't even considered before. Because instead of just taking and doing what someone else has done, we take little bits and pieces of what's gone on in different industries and we meld them together for our own unique solution. That's my favorite type of problem solving. So on the Horns of a Dilemma, I would love to know if you've got a story or an experience where you felt like you were on the horns of a dilemma and you just were like beside yourself because you didn't know what to do. Been there, done that. I think life dishes us lessons so that we can learn and continue to grow and become who it is that we want to become to lead our organizations. And those don't always feel good, but we always learn from them if we're willing to learn from them. Have an absolutely amazing day. I'll be with you tomorrow with another interesting idiom. What does it mean? Where does it come from? And how might you use it in your business today? Take care. Bye. See you tomorrow.